everybody. Welcome live to the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. We're so excited to have our very, very special guests joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada. They are extraordinary. They are America's premier impersonators, illusionists, entertainers, coming to us live from Las Vegas. They are the Edwards twins. We are so excited to welcome Anthony and Eddie Edwards. They've been doing this for almost 40 years now. What do? They are extraordinary. They morph into, they turn into, they embody the character, the spirit, the voice, the look of some of your favorite characters and stars from television and film and music, like Sonny and Cher. Now, we got a chance to see them recently. Matter of fact, there's a couple of places where we had an opportunity to see them. And one was one of their recent sold out concerts. These guys do almost 300 shows a year all around the country and beyond. And it's absolutely extraordinary. There is Neil Diamond, yes. And how about Andrea Bocelli and Barbra Streisand? Is that... Now, you're looking at the screen. If you're just tuning in, you're like, oh my God, that is Andrea Bocelli and Barbra Streisand. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. We shall find out on this episode of the show. Another great guest, Dolly Parton. We're pulling out all the stops for you here on the Jim Masters Show live series. And look at this. Bette Midler, Elton John, together right here on the show. They are the Edwards twins, and look who we have here. This is at a recent concert event, and I had an opportunity to see them. This was a second meeting, actually. We had an opportunity to see them just a couple of weeks before, and they were coming through the Northeast here in the New York area. We said, we're going to go. We're going to have a great time, and it was a spectacular show. They put on an incredible show, gang. You're going to absolutely love it if you get a chance to see them when they come to your hometown, and or if you get yourself to Vegas, because they are absolutely amazing. It's a lot of laughs. There's a lot of music and a lot of entertainment and a lot of audience participation as well. Two brothers, over 100 stars that they become before your eyes, which is absolutely amazing. They're also makeup illusionists, and they've been doing this again for almost 40 years, which is so hard to believe. And they are so talented, and they're so funny, and they're so affable, and truly it is extraordinary. You know, I've been working in this industry myself, of television, radio, entertainment and all. We've seen a lot of different shows, but this really is one of the best I've ever seen. And, they really make you feel like you are seeing the stars up close and personal, which I think is absolutely incredible. The way they do it, the skill, the perfection, the talent, the humor, it's just absolutely unbelievable. Barbra Streisand, Elton John, Cher, right there before your eyes. Is this not absolutely amazing? Yes. And this, again, is just the short list of some of the incredible folks that they turn into, some of your favorite stars, legends, and so much more in Vegas. They sell out all the time. If you hear about their tickets, gang, you got to make sure you grab a ticket real fast, because they sell out, and there are waiting lists for tickets oftentimes as well, because people know in the industry and out how good they are. And there are people who go back, every time that they come to their hometown, or if they're in Las Vegas, they make sure they see the twin brothers, the Edwards twins, which I think is so absolutely cool. I want to tell you a little bit about their extraordinary background. It truly is the ultimate variety show. They do all the singing, they do all the makeup, the costumes. You might have also recently seen them, and they're going to join us in just a second, just giving you a little background on them, in case this is your first introduction, or maybe you're a big fan and you just love hearing about some of the things that they do. Did you see them recently in the Kominsky Method on Netflix? Yes, they've starred on that as well. Michael Douglas, and of course, the wonderful Alan Arkin in that particular photo there. They have been on Netflix's The Kominsky Method, and Margaret as well, who was a recent guest here on the Jim Masters Show live series. But truly, it really is amazing to see them morph. And what's really amazing is how many costume changes they do during the course of the show. You'll see all of these different stars in like one show. It isn't where they do just Elton John or Streisand or Midler in one show, and then you go back, and then next week they're Tom Jones or something. You'll see all of these different stars come from behind the curtains, and it's extraordinary, the quick turnaround. I just think it's amazing. So, as I mentioned, the Edwards twins recently seen in the Golden Globe winning Netflix TV show, The Kominsky Method. You remember all the wonderful variety shows from the 70s and 80s? Well, it's your chance to see them live and recreated by Las Vegas's #1 impersonators of all time. All your favorite legendary superstars come alive in what is called an evening with the stars. And the NBC Today show says it's one of the most extraordinary shows they've ever seen. Sonny and Cher, Billy Joel, Elton John, Neil Diamond, Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, Lady Gaga, Celine Dion, Rod Stewart, Bette Midler, Barbra Streisand, Andrea Bocelli, Tom Jones, and many more. All live vocals. Each star sings the #1 hits as well as your favorite songs. It really is absolutely incredible. And they've been doing this for a long time. They utilize the latest Hollywood grade makeup, prosthetics, as well as the fashion designers of the stars themselves. And the end result is a real top-notch, nonstop parade of stars on stage that are all at once amazing, funny, and entertaining. And they've been on The Tonight Show, and they've been featured on Entertainment Tonight as well. Yeah. A lot of the incredible shows and series that you enjoy, they have been a part of and featured on as well. And some other shows that they've been featured on, as I mentioned, The Kominsky Method, also on Ellen. And I say they perform almost 300 shows a year to packed houses. They even travel to Singapore. They go to Florida. They go everywhere. And it's incredible, folks. We're going to have some we have a little promo clip we're going to show later of them in action. And we're so excited to have them here. So join me, folks, if you want to comment during the show. We welcome everybody. I'm your host, Jim Masters. We are live on air, coming to you from the JMS Levity Hall, our studio here, where we broadcast the show in the New York area of the United States. And we got a little bit of a nor'easter storm happening at the time of the show right now. So fingers crossed, we stay with you. Let's welcome from Vegas, my friends and yours. The Edwards twins are in the house. Eddie and Anthony. Welcome.
Hello, Jim. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. We are honored to be on your show. You've had some of the biggest legends, and we don't know what we're doing here, but we're happy to be here.
Tonight, it's the Edwards twins starring as the Edwards twins.
That's right. That's right.
You know, when you take on so many characters, is it hard sometimes to just be yourself?
Actually, you know what? It is. But, you know, one thing that I can't get out is these voices in my head that, you know, it's Elton John and Tom Jones and Frankie Valli and all that stuff. But we are certainly able, you know, to separate, you know, fact from fiction. And what we do, you know, is something that we are able to bring so much joy to people, which is such a blessing. Of course, you know, when we promote ourselves, we certainly never promote ourselves as the actual stars. We promote ourselves as the Edwards twins. And what we're doing is we're creating illusions to make people think that they are seeing the actual stars, whether it's through our voices, makeup, the prosthesis, the dentures, the wigs, the voices. And and thank God at this point in time, we're able to separate the two.
How did you guys come up with the idea to do this? When you were kids growing up, again, you are brothers, you are twins, were you always creative? Did you do plays in the garage, all kinds of different things? Were you always, you know, having fun with one another and creating? How did the whole idea come to be?
All of the above, Jim. We were literally, our imaginations were absolutely insane, crazy. And we, of course, had all this energy. My mother didn't know what to do with us. So we basically decided that we would create characters. We would watch TV a lot, and we wanted to become these characters on TV. So it actually started out as a game. My brother and I, we would like watch the Carol Burnett show, let's say, or we'd watch Sonny and Cher or Flip Wilson or Laugh-In, and we would basically have a contest on who could do the best voice on the television set. And that's kind of how it started. It started basically as a game. Now, if you would have told us we'd be making a living doing this, we would have thought, okay, you're crazy, because how could anyone make a living doing this? But it just kind of eventually morphed into that. We learned how to do makeup. We're self-taught makeup artists. Have not had one lesson of makeup at all, ever. This is self-taught, because no one can teach you how to do this. You have to teach yourself how to do it. So that's kind of in a nutshell how it all started.
That is absolutely incredible, the way that it started, and the fact that you're self-taught makeup artists. How did you do that? Was it just putting it on, trial and error? Were you watching tutorial videos? How did you actually do it? Did you talk to mom? I mean, what?
Yeah. You know, the thing is living in Hollywood, we would be with our Uncle Jack, who was a regular on the Sonny and Cher show. And
he was also the announcer on the Sonny and Cher show. He's the one who would go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny and Cher."
Yeah.
Now, is that the same Jack that is the one who worked with my friend and colleague Doug Llewellyn, host of the People's Court, who I still work with today?
Same voice. Exactly. He was the voice of Hollywood.
He was the voice, and he also was George Slaughter's assistant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so so we would be hanging out at the studios, and we were into everything. We were milking the actors, the makeup artists, the lighting people, the sound, you know, and we just wanted to learn
sponges.
We wanted to learn about everything. And then I remember one of the makeup artists saying, "You have to get a book written by Dick Smith on makeup." And at that time, I just studied that book, and then also learned a lot from the famous Michael Westmore, which is a dear friend of ours.
It became like our uncle.
Yes,
literally became like our uncle, which is amazing, because his family goes back to the Stone Ages. They're the ones that created all of the incredible makeup. I mean, Mike was the one who created all the makeup for Star Trek and the entire Star Trek series,
as well as is in Cher's Mask.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for.
What an incredible movie that was, right?
So we just got as much information, and then we created our own style of doing makeup. We also are blessed to have one of the top cosmetic dentists in Hollywood that makes all of our teeth.
Gary Archer, who actually created the teeth for Austin Powers, and
does everything.
Every vampire movie that was ever made from the very beginning, Gary did the teeth for all that. He worked with everyone, Brad Pitt and
Tom Cruise,
all of them.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, you know, down to even optometrists that do eye color changes. We work with the best in the business in that department. You know, the famous Matthew Mungle is another one that's a dear friend of ours that taught us so much about makeup.
He won an Academy Award for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes,
that's one of many he did. He was the genius behind Tracy Ullman and all of her characters.
Yes,
he's the man behind that.
Yes,
wow. Matthew is, really incredible. Yeah. So we've been very blessed to be able to literally learn from the best in the business.
It sounds like you have surrounded yourself with extraordinary, masters of their crafts as well, and a lot of people who want to work with you guys, which I think is incredible. It's a testament to your talent, but also your affability, which I think they enjoy the energy that you have, and they realize all of the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into the shows. As I said to the viewers, having been at the concert and the event, the show, seeing it in person, because it is a show, it is an event, it is a performance, it's a concert. It's all these things all rolled into one. It's like a blockbuster. But to see the amount of costume changes and the energy and passion you put into it, the humor, it's just extraordinary. And you don't know who or what's going to come out of the curtain next. And it's constant. It isn't that all right, here's, an hour with this person. And then you guys are on fire. Where does that passion and energy come from? Because you really are, you belt out the songs, you knock it out of the park. Everybody's energized. If they were having a bad day before they went into the theater, they're coming out high-fiving. Where does that energy and passion come from? Because having seen it myself, Truth in Advertising, it's spectacular.
Well, we are perfectionists, and we are so loyal to our fans for giving them the best. And every year, we want to come up with something new and fresh. And creating, for me, is one of the most wonderful things that I love doing more than anything. I love a good challenge. So when I see something or when I get an idea, I'm like, you know what, let's see how we can make this work. And there's a lot of times where most people would say, well, that's just impossible. That word is not in my vocabulary. The question is, how can we achieve it? How can we get it done? And I will call on the best people in Hollywood, in New York, whatever I have to do to achieve whatever character that I planned. Recently, we have hired the Emmy Award winner, Bill Diamond, to be able to be part of our show. And he, of course, worked with Jim Henson for years. He worked on several movies.
He's got 3 Emmys.
Yeah, 3 Emmys. And so now, not just do we do makeup, but we do puppetry, where we have him make our puppets, our celebrity puppets. So
we can do duets
yes.
with them, because there's a lot of characters that we just don't have time to do. So with these puppets, we can be able to have the puppets, and then we can do the voice. And so it opens up a whole brand new genre of many different celebrities that we can do. So our show is, kind of like Terry Fader now as well. So we have a lot going on. We have the impersonation part of it. We have the family part of it. We have the Terry Fader part of it. We have the lacage part of it, being the fact that I'm a man dressing up as a woman. So it's really a combination of all the top shows in Las Vegas combined. The only thing that we haven't put in yet is Cirque du Soleil, and this is just only because we just don't have the budget.
Is it hard to believe you've been doing it for almost 40 years now?
Yeah.
I mean, this is unbelievable. And you keep adding to your repertoire of people that you do, which I think is extraordinary. When you have an idea of including somebody new in the mix, what is that process like, sort of really studying their mannerisms, their voice, their personality? Do you do a deep dive into who they are so you're able to then create the illusion of being them? What is that process like when you have the idea, gee, let's add this person?
Good at diagnosing everything from how things start.
It's pretty intense, right?
Yeah,
it
very
really is
intense.
intense. So I want to back up just a little bit. I wanted to do the Bee Gees, but of course I didn't have 2 other people that could do the other 2 parts, Maurice and Robin. So what I did is I went to Bill Diamond and I said, Bill, I want you to create the Bee Gees for me, where I'm able to have all the mouths move at the same time and be able to create the Bee Gees. And I didn't know if it would work. And he did it. Cost a lot of money doing it. And so now the Bee Gees are in the show, and it's one of the top, numbers of the show now, because now I get to do the Bee Gees with these puppets. Now, for something like Tom Jones or Frankie Valli, The first thing is that I want to make sure I can get the voice down. So once I accomplish the voice, I'll put it in the vocal impression set that we do. And if it goes over, great. Then I'll start working on the makeup and then or the arrangements. I'll take it to my arranger and I'll go, okay, this is what I want. I want to do a medley of Frankie Valli songs or Tom Jones songs. So he'll bring in the orchestra and he'll arrange the entire set for me. And then after that, I'll start working on the makeup. We'll go to our wig designer. We'll bring her in and she will start with all the lace fronts and the wigs and being able to get the right work. And then what I'll do like 10 different wigs to make sure which look is going to be the best, because all wigs are different. Then after that, I'll start to get into prosthesis if I need to go ahead and change, my face. I'll end up, going to, one of my makeup artists. They'll take a cast of my face, and then we'll either do a nose or cheeks or something like that. And then I'll go to Gary and have Gary do all the teeth. And then I'll go to my costume designer, and I'll have my costume designer design me whatever era that I want. And then we'll put the whole thing together. And then this is going to be a 1 or 2 year period, of working on all this stuff. Then we will introduce it to the audience. And if it works, we keep it in the show. And if it doesn't work, we take it out. So it's a lot of work.
It really sounds like it. And the response from the, some artists, of course, not with us anymore, but the ones that have seen you guys in action as you've done these incredible performances, celebrating them. Because what I think is beautiful about what you're doing is you are also celebrating these legendary people, these celebrities, these people, because you understand as well how hard it is for them and what it takes for them to get to the levels that they're at. So as much as we're celebrating them in reveling in seeing them before our eyes through you, you're also celebrating and honoring them at the same time, right?
Yes. And a lot of people will say, I've never had a chance to see Tom Jones. I've never had a chance to see Barbra Streisand or Elton John, but I saw them tonight. And that is the ultimate compliment. And
we're lucky enough, Jim, to be endorsed by the majority of the celebrities that we do, which is absolutely extraordinary. There's nothing better than to be able to be doing a celebrity and looking out into the audience and seeing the celebrity's face with a big smile and knowing that they love what it is that you're doing. There just isn't anything more exciting than that.
Another thing, Jim, that's really amazing is that sometimes we're able to see the superstars that we grew up with. This Monday night, we're going to have the honor to see our very good friend. She's coming to see us perform, Barbara Eden. So we will be with her on Monday, and we're going to be doing a whole show for her. And there'll be people in the audience from Donna Mills to Lonnie Anderson to Denise Crosby, a lot of big stars, just to mention a few. And it's
This is one of the real ones, those limited ones. A friend several years ago knew I love the show, and working in television as well, I've always appreciated it even more, and had it custom made, painted, the whole bit. And it's very heavy, but this is it. So
it's a beautiful bottle.
This one's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the real.
Extraordinary, amazing.
But it's such an honor and it's such a privilege to have made friends with all these superstars. And these are people like Barbara Eden. Barbara Eden was on every variety show, in the 70s, and she knows everybody, and to be able to have her as a fan, I mean, that is just such a blessing.
you could see that affection that she has for you guys. It's like family, isn't it? And you're so supportive of her too.
That's actually the first time that we met you. We were with Barbara Eaton at Comic-Con.
That's right. That's exactly right. And boy,
that was an
she's amazing, isn't she?
She is.
She loves her fans and appreciates them.
She's incredible. We were lucky enough to be able to bring her to Rhode Island Comic-Con when she really doesn't do anything really very much anymore. So we were there, and she broke every record that was ever set for years and years and years. Her line was the longest. We actually had to cut her line because she's 92 years old. She can only do so.
Which is so hard to believe, right?
We were there 2 hours after Comic-Con.
She stayed there 2 hours.
She stayed for every fan. Everything.
It's beautiful.
And that just goes to show you how much she loves and adores her fans.
Yeah, but you guys, I witnessed you guys doing that similarly with your show as well. You're very cognizant of the audience. You're very appreciative of the audience. You interact with the audience. If the audience, laughs or says something, you interact as the character, which I think is extraordinary. And it's a fun time. You're going through the many years of celebrities, and again, it's high energy, and it's just lots of star-studded feel to it. But at the same time, it also feels warm and welcoming, like you have been transported back to a time when there were the glitz and the glamour, but yet the warmth was there all at the same time. And you seem to be able to be old school and modern at the same time, which I think is a difficult thing to balance and master, but you seem to have been able to do.
Yeah, well, we're very old school only because we were taught by the best. We were taught by the best people in Hollywood that had etiquette, that had discipline, and basically told us if we wanted to get into this business, we would have to give up everything.
Sacrifice everything.
Sacrifice everything.
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 They were very adamant to that. And these are really the biggest legends in the world that actually told us this. We've been so blessed to be able to work with some of the biggest people in show business, and every single one of them, they told us the exact same thing. Said, you want to be the best, you've got to sacrifice everything. And that's exactly what we've done. Yeah. We have never had relationships. We've never been in love. We have literally done nothing but toured for 40 years. And everything is the show. And that's the reason why that, thank God our show is as successful as it is because, we just basically sacrifice everything. And we want our show to be able to be nothing but top notch.
Yes. Yes. And that can only come with discipline and etiquette. And the thing is, and that's the thing that, we strive in our show because, fans are paying a lot of money to come see us, and we don't want to gyp them, and we want to make sure that what they see is quality, that it's just not a throwaway show. And we want to give them everything that we can in one show to be able, when they go out, they're saying that's one of the best shows I've ever seen.
It's really absolutely amazing. And okay, so there is the creation of the fashion and the makeup and the hair and all of these extras. Then what is it like to sort of be able to capture and master the vocal tones, their speaking voice as well as their singing voice? I mean, just mastering the look and the mannerisms and all of that is whole. You could spend years just perfecting that, but to be able to actually sound like them and react like them and have those little idiosyncrasies that they have, those little tics or whatever it is, it's really outstanding. That is a intense process too, right? Learning to be able to sing like them and do the things they do.
Yes, it really is a science, because once you study people's voices, you immediately will find out, okay, what's their timbre? When they sing, do they have a mid voice, low voice, high voice? Do they have vibrato in their voice? Or is it an airy type of sound? Is it more of a gravel? Is it more of a mid-tone? The thing is in their characteristics of their voice. And you listen to stuff over and over and over again, and you just learn to be able to master their speaking voice as well as their singing voice. And then once you get it with the arrangement, if it doesn't sound exactly or pretty doggone close to the original recording, you know what? Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Because
Please
people
don't do
are
it.
not interested.
They're not interested.
And people, don't want to hear somebody says, well, it was kind of there, but not really. You want people to go, they're lip sync.
They're lip syncing.
Yeah, that's not their voices.
Right.
They're lip sync singing. And if you can get people to say that, you've done your job.
Yeah. I used to take offense to that because I started in a show in the 80s, very successful show. And to this day, they're still traveling and doing that. But when I started with Anthony and all this stuff, and people would say, oh, he's a lip syncer, I would take offense to it. But then as I got a little older and kind of, really realized what it was they were saying, I now take it as a compliment. So when people say you're lip syncing, to me, it's the ultimate compliment.
Right. But you do let them know that every ounce of what's happening is as authentic as it is. You guys are doing all of it, which I think.
And Jim, don't get us wrong. We love lip syncing shows, and we love,
amazing. The lip sync is
to be able to.
It's an art.
That's what they used to do on the television shows in the studios when they would be singing to, their records that would be playing in the studio,
and they've all done it. Cher has done it. Barbara Streisand has done it.
Right.
Exactly.
All of the great Fred Astaire, all of them, they had to do that. They had to go in, pre-record all of their stuff, and lip sync to themselves. And until you actually have to do it, people don't realize what an art it is to be able to do it and make it believable.
Yes.
That's it. You have to make it believable.
And it's great fun. It's great entertainment. I mean, you have RuPaul's Drag Race. You have a lot of stuff. And, they all do such an amazing job. So we're certainly not dogging that. It's just what we do is just different.
Exactly. You mentioned having an opportunity to actually chat with some of the folks that you've had an opportunity to do, like Celine Dion.
Love her. I love my Celine. I love her so much, and I still see her to this very day. She just lives right up the street from me. It's so sad what she's going through now.
Yes.
And I just pray to God that she gets back to her performing. But I do try to go over there and cheer her up every chance I get. And I say, Celine, listen, you rest a little bit. Let me take on your job for a while. I'll bring joy to people.
That's a beautiful thing. Tom Jones, huh?
He was like, my God, you do me better than I do myself.
And you mentioned, and I had an opportunity to chat with her as well. And she is, people ask you, of the people that you've interviewed professionally, in television or whatever, or people that you've just come across, who are people that are some of your personal favorites, or people that matched what you hoped they would be from what you've studied, what you've watched in film, television, on stage? And there's a few people on that list who perfectly match, if not exceed that, in terms of there's no airs about them. They're real, they're approachable, they're warm, they're funny. And of course, one being the incomparable Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett.
Exactly. That's
Yes.
what we were exactly
We
going
were
to
just
say.
gonna say that. Yes. Yes.
Without a shadow of the doubt, the most nicest, warmest, loving, joyful person, celebrity in the entire world.
In the entire world.
Nobody
Yes.
more
More
loving than Miss Carol
Right.
Burnett.
And the first time that we met Carol, she came to see me in Toronto, Canada, and she had her lovely daughter Carrie with her,
Yes.
and we hit it off, and we became good friends from there. And when I tell you, she was so inspirational when we first started. She said, "Anything I can do to help you boys, I will be there." And boy, she was such a huge help. And then when we saw her again in West Palm Beach, which was where that picture was taken, we got to be able to reunite. And she introduced us to the entire crowd. And we showed a picture of me doing Carol with Carol. And she was like, "Okay, now I can't remember which is me, which is
She
you."
says, I can't tell the difference between who's me and who's you.
That means you're good.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Exactly. I guess the way to tell the true test is the one that says "ow" when you pinch them is the real one.
That's right. That's right. And I was so honored to be able to do the Carol Burnett show with her. She asked me to be on the season premiere of when she brought back the Carol Burnett show, which is Carol and Company.
That was on
And
NBC, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was so honored. I was like, "Oh my God, Carol, you don't know what this means to me." She says, "I want you on there." She says, "I just kind of feel like I've created, what you and your brother have." And honestly, she did. She was the one that talked me into doing it because I had my own career and I was going to go off and do my own thing. And she says, "Eddie, I promise you," she says, "if you literally take my advice," she says, "you will literally be a huge celebrity." And we definitely thank her so much for helping us and for getting us started.
Well, she's always surrounded herself with good people and talented people, as you have as well. She and you, Tim Conway and
That's right. Yeah,
Harvey
they were
Korman.
dear friends too.
Great people.
Yeah,
Great people.
And when I tell you Harvey, every time we saw him, he'd let us have it.
Yeah.
It's always. He's
Yes.
such a prankster.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. A lot of people don't realize this about Tim. Tim was a very quiet man.
Yes, he was.
Very
Yes.
quiet.
Yes.
Yes, he was entirely different. He was the loveliest person. And our friend Louise Deward, was with him, both of them, for years with their show when they toured.
Yeah, that was taken at the Stardust
here in Vegas,
right across the street from where I used to perform at the Riviera Hotel, right here in Vegas. Yeah. And they announced us. They literally announced us in the audience, which was amazing. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and it was just it just made us feel so incredible.
I'm personal friends with Harvey's son, Chris. Who was wonderful, and he's been a guest on our show numerous times. Matter of fact, when we did, if we had met prior, I would have had you on too. But we did the celebration honoring Carol Burnett's 90th, and several people that were affiliated with the Carol Burnett show were on, and Chris was here, honoring his dad. And we had Tim Conway's daughter, Kelly, was also with us talking about growing up Conway. And
as a matter of fact, Kelly was there that night.
Yes.
Kelly was there that night. Yes. And so that was amazing.
Now,
because back then she was pretty young.
You know what is also amazing, and I'll say this to our viewers watching live, everybody watching around the world. This is your host, Jim Masters, the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. Our illustrious guests are Anthony and Eddie. They are incredible. They are the Edwards twins. I think one of the things that's so cool, and I asked this of you when we first met, people watching you right now, the enthusiasm, the punch to your voice, the energy, the passion. I bet automatically assume you are East Coast kids. You're Boston, you're New York, you're Philadelphia, Burbank.
Burbank,
Who'da
California.
thunk it? But you have an East Coast
I know.
sound
You know
vibe.
what it is? It's the Pennsylvania Dutch accent that we got from our mother and father because they were from
I hear a little
Pennsylvania.
Boston in there too, Massachusetts.
Right, yes,
Yes.
and Boston. And you know, a lot has to do too, Jim, is the fact is that we do so many shows on the East Coast, and a lot of our celebrities are basically from the East Coast, you know, and they have that New York East Coast accent. And I think with doing them as long as we have, we've kind of, you know, kind of taken that on as our regular selves. You know, I mean, it was so funny because our friend Louise Duarte, she was the most incredible to me. She was the best female impressionist in the world. Not that many people knew who she was, but she was amazing. That's why Tim and Harvey had her tour with her for 10 years. But she did the most incredible Carol Burnett.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
It was the best ever.
And not just Carol. She did everybody.
She did everybody.
And she did. Yeah. She did a lot of Showtime specials.
Yeah.
In the '80s, and she's literally a legend. And
but she would take on. I noticed that she did Carol for so long that she would take on Carol Burnett's personality. And there were times when I was talking with her, I swear to God that I was talking to Carol Burnett because she had done Carol for so long that she just took on a lot of Carol's mannerisms.
Wow, that really is incredible. Do you have, I guess it's kind of hard to answer this question, but do you have favorites? You're playing them, you're becoming them, you're presenting them to us, but you just have always gravitated towards those. Are there some that you perform that are just your individual personal favorites as talents?
Yes, for me, without a shadow of a doubt, it's Barbra Streisand and Cher. And I think it's because, first of all, Barbara was my very first character that I ever started learning. And I started doing her at the age of 14 years old. And most of the people that know me that have come to see my show, they always say Barbara is like the closest voice-wise and look-wise. And then I think of vocally, you know, Cher is one of my strongest as well. But those two, it's always a toss-up. And people that come to see the show, they always say those are their two favorites, and that's kind of and again, we do so many of them, but those two for me are my closest.
I want folks who are looking at the screen right now, I want them to, as they're looking at the screen, to say, you if you're doing a double take, folks, look how extraordinary this is. It is absolutely extraordinary what we're seeing here. Of course, Elton in the middle, Elton John. You really feel you're looking at them. It's unbelievable, the attention to detail.
Yeah, and probably for me, it really does change. It really does change, but I just have such a passion for Andrea Bocelli because everybody loves him, and the difficulty in learning Italian and also being able to sing, you know, the opera stuff is a huge challenge. And yet people are, I think, more moved by Bocelli than they're moved by anybody else. And I think I feel him the most at this time. And then, of course, my second would be Elton John, because I do Elton from the 70s, the 80s, and the way he looks now, all in a matter of 15 minutes. And people love it because they get to see Elton in the three generations.
Which is really amazing. And there you are with Bette Midler.
Yep.
Do you ever look at it? Do you ever, go through all the trouble to do all this work and then look in the mirror and say, "Oh my God, that is absolutely spectacular what we've
You know,
created here."
it's interesting because I have to say, in all honesty, we do our very best to be able to, create the illusions. But Anthony and I were very hard to impress. And when it takes a lot for me to be able to look at a character and look in the mirror and say, "Oh wow, yeah, I really do look like them." I really don't. And I think if you asked a lot of celebrities, like I know Barbara Streisand's very much like this, and a lot of the others, they don't really like their work because they are perfectionists, and nothing is really ever good enough. And that's kind of the way that we are. We
I
are.
can relate to that same thing. Yeah, it takes me time to look
Yeah,
at what I just did because I need to, you have expectations, you have investment, emotional investment,
yeah,
and you're striving and you're actually doing the work. And then if I see it or hear it again, replayed or on TV or on radio, whatever it is, I'm usually not. Everybody else may love it.
yes,
Producers, the whole world. Oh my God, that was unbelievable. Spot
yep,
on. High five. But I'm not there yet. I need to come down from it, and I need to emotionally detach from it. And then I could pull out work I did number of years ago
yes,
and put the tape in the
yes,
VCR, press play, and say, "Actually, now that I see it
yeah,
removed from the
yes,
urgency and emotion of the moment,
Yes.
that
yes,
was pretty good. I now hear what
Yeah.
they were saying."
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. And I've actually had those moments more so now that I'm older than I ever have. Like I just recorded a 2-volume Bocelli CD. And even my engineer who's worked with Beyonce and J-Lo and all the best had said, "I don't know what you've done, but your voice was the best I have ever heard it." And I went back and I listened to all the stuff, and I have to say, I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed. I was so happy with the work that I had done, and I usually am not. I'm usually a perfectionist. And then I recorded some other stuff, and I was happy with a lot of it. And surprisingly, I was very happy, where I'm usually not. So as I get older, I am having those moments, and I don't know why, but I'm loving it.
I think what it is, I think you nailed it, Jim. I think it's old age. And I think that, when we're younger, we look at things differently. But I think as time goes on, like I expect that maybe when I reach 70 or maybe even, a little older, I can be able to look at that and go, "Oh, you know what? I was pretty good back then." But,
And not when you're in your old age,
yeah,
when you are seasoned veterans.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what I call it.
That's true. Or we could be insane, in a nursing home and go, "Yeah, this one thought he was Elton John."
Yeah, but with the connections you guys have.
yeah. Give him some more drugs.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you are in that nursing home, you guys are going to look pretty good. You've got connections to the teeth people, the hair people, the skin
Absolutely.
people, the make. You've got all the
I'm
connections.
keeping all my prosthetics. I plan
Right.
on selling them in the nursing home.
Their breath may be bad, but they look good.
And they laugh in unison too. They always say that there's something really beautiful and special between twins. And when one is not with the other, there is a feeling of an emptiness. What is that like?
That's a horse crap.
Or it's the opposite. He's a pain in the neck. The other one's a pain in the neck. Which one of you wanted to wear red shirts instead of what you have on now?
You know what? Yeah,
It would have been me.
Right.
It would have been me.
He is the person who designs and does all the costuming and all that stuff, because I do not have that eye.
I mean,
at all.
listen, look at this floor arrangement that I actually put together.
Yeah,
You know,
if,
I mean,
if it was up to me, you would have gotten a brick wall.
and he maybe scattered, he maybe duct tape a couple daisies to it. Thank God for me and my sparkle.
And the sparkle, right? It's the yin and the yang of life, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, because I'm in my Vegas home, and even though you can't see it, it's absolutely beautiful. I've spent my whole life designing, you know, all of my, you know, and I've got so many beautiful stuff, and I've got collectibles and, you know, pictures with all of the big celebrities. So it really is great. He doesn't even have a home. Whatever, you know, I mean, so, you know, there's a big difference between both of us. But I will say this, though, we would not have what we have if it wasn't for each other. So we definitely know where our, you know, bread is buttered, you know, so to speak. But like anything, you have to understand, too, is that we do 300 shows a year.
Unbelievable.
We're with each other every minute, every hour. We're collaborating back and forth business-wise, because we have to make business, you know, decisions together and all that stuff. So it's like whenever I'm in Vegas, he knows when I'm at my home, you know what, it's me and only me. And unless we're doing an interview or he decides he wants to do a load of laundry, he's not allowed over here.
It's true. It's like, you have your hotel room, I have my house. Get out.
This isn't an Airbnb, right?
That's right, exactly.
It's like, I'm like, Eddie, can I sleep over for the? I don't have a room. Get out.
I distinctively, all my rooms are collectible rooms. They have my collectible everything in there or whatever. No one's sleeping over here.
Now, Mr. Las Vegas himself, did you ever do Wayne Newton?
You know what? No. And you know, I don't know why. Because I know, you know, our good friend Danny Gans, you know, which we love. He did the best of Wayne Newton. Yes. And after seeing him, it's like, I'm not tackling Wayne, because he was so good at
Did you know Danny Gans? Did you know of him?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell our audience about him.
Okay, so Danny Gans was probably the #1 vocal impressionist in the world.
In the world.
In the world. I mean,
not taking anything away from Rich Little.
Rich
Little is in a category all to himself.
Right.
He's extraordinary.
Right. But
Danny Gans took it up to a different level.
And Danny sung as well as did voices. He started here on the strip at the Stratosphere. His tickets were $25. By the end of his career, he was getting $200 a show. And Steve Wynn,
and you couldn't even get tickets.
You couldn't even get tickets.
Couldn't even get tickets.
Ever. And he was. I mean, look him up online. I've not heard anybody that could even come close to Dan.
Every voice he did was
dead
on. Yeah. And he did hundreds of them.
Yeah. And I think, I might be wrong on this, but I think he did $100 million contract.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's the most an impersonator has ever made on the Las Vegas Strip.
That is absolutely amazing.
He holds the record.
Still holds the record, huh?
Still holds the record. Even more, he even made more money than what Terry Fator is making.
Well, you guys, I mean, you work, as you were saying, you work your tails off. 300 shows a year. Yes. How are you able to do it and still be upright?
It's called cocaine. Yeah.
Actually,
that's a robust laugh, folks, isn't it?
This is very funny. What a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, when we told you in the first segment that sacrifice, we've never had one sip of alcohol in our life, not even a drop. We've never done drugs, and we have never smoked. And I, of course, have a very strict eating, habit that I have to do. I'm 143 pounds. I can't really gain that much, because if not, I'm not going to be able to do Dolly. I'm not going to be able to do Cher, Celine, all this stuff. So I have to keep my weight down. But again, it's sacrifice, So we have to be very careful about what it is that we put in our bodies, because we cannot get sick. Our fans would literally hang us. They would hang us, because a lot of these people, they literally will fly in from all over the world to see our show. And if we're sick, then we're going to have a lot of disappointed people, So we have to be able to take care of our bodies, because 300 shows a year, we just don't have time to get sick. So we have to be able to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely right. I think one of our viewers had asked, I think it was Kathleen in New York City, if there was ever a character or a personality, a celebrity. There it is. Is there anyone you guys decided not to do because you weren't happy with the outcome when you became them? Like you started to think about doing it, and then you said, we don't think we'll do that one.
Well, for me, it was, and then thank God, through the help of my wig stylist and other makeup artists, I was able to correct it. But the first time I did Tom Jones, it was not good. It was not good. I looked like Trini Lopez.
And if you know who Trini Lopez is, you get a gold star.
But anyways, it did not look good. Then about 7 years later, I tried him again, and then now it's phenomenal. The same thing with Frankie Valli. And then I decided, and then it was not good. And then I decided to do Frankie from his solo career, the Grease period. And that's what I do, and I knocked it out of the park. So, thank God I was able to correct those two. But there's been times, like people want me to do Frank Sinatra and some other ones. It just is not really Frank is not in me. I'd rather do, classics like Billy Joel, Joe Cocker, Rod Stewart, Joe Cocker. I said Joe Cocker. Just those types of people. I feel those people more.
And then, of course, Sonny and Cher. When you guys did
classic.
Sonny and Cher, it's incredible.
Thank you
so much. I think the characters that I have tried to do that I've not been able to get down is Taylor Swift. I really wanted to try to do Taylor Swift. She's just too young. She's in her 20s. I'm in my 50s. It just isn't going to work. I don't care how much duct tape I have.
Look at them. They both laugh exactly the same. They take the same amount of breaths. It's amazing.
So I asked Taylor Swift. It didn't even work. And even though I do the look for Reba McEntire, which I think my look for Reba McEntire is amazing.
Yeah.
The voice, I could not get down her twang. Everyone would think that the twang would be so easy to do. Not easy to do.
Not easy to do.
Dolly is a different type of twang than
unbelievable. The Dolly.
Yeah, you saw my Dolly. I believe I did it the night that. Yeah,
you were there. Yeah,
that was fine. I was able to do that. Reba McEntire, I just kept, especially being that now she's on The Voice and everything, and she's just so out there or whatever. There's just other characters I do much better than that. And even though some people did say, you nailed it, I don't think I do.
There's a lot of characters now that I do that I can't do. When I was in the Bahamas, the African American community there came to me and said, "We want you to do African Americans." I'm like, "Well, isn't that a racist?"
Like a Ray Charles or some of the others? Yeah.
And so
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, and I was a hit. And then I brought it over to the United States. I was a hit. I mean, Lionel, Stevie endorsed it. You know, the NAACP endorsed it, all of that stuff. And then all of a sudden, whatever it was, 2017 to 2018, the blackface thing happened. And now I can't do them. So, you know, you know, life goes on.
Right, exactly. You've had an opportunity to meet so many other incredible veterans of the industry. Don Rickles.
Oh my God,
Don was the best.
The best. When I tell you now, Don, if you know Don, he is also entirely different. He's so shy.
Off camera, then on camera. Right. Yeah.
The complete opposite.
He really is Mr. Warmth.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yes.
He is so opposite from what people think he is. And oh my God, what I mean, we love Don so much.
I'll tell you, we laughed. That was backstage in New Mexico, and I'll tell you, we laughed for an hour.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just incredible. We had such an amazing time with him, and then we went out to eat with him and his wife Barbara.
Yeah,
it was amazing. We had such a
absolutely, yeah. And I would imagine some of his jokes probably wouldn't be able to be said as well today.
He passed away just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I mean, unfortunately, that type of humor.
Phyllis Diller and some of them.
Phyllis Diller.
The Dean Martin roasts.
Yeah, right. Joan Rivers.
Dangerfield, some of them as well.
Yeah, it's sad how, you know, comedy has changed, and not for the better.
Somebody else, brother and sister team, who had we have a psychic on the show too. Yes, I was going to build it up to they had their residency in Vegas.
And Donnie, both Donnie and Marie are very good friends of ours.
Very good friends. They wanted us to start doing that.
Yes, right.
They actually, that's a great segue to the question I was going to ask later, which was, do you get people who want you to do them?
Yes.
And Donnie Marie.
And Donnie Marie was at the top of the list. We just, unfortunately, you know, it wasn't that we don't consider them to be legends, because they are legends, but you know, we just prefer to do Sonny and Cher, you know, than Donnie and Marie, you know. And believe it or not, too, in the 80s, I was asked by Gloria Estefan to be able to do Gloria.
Yeah.
And I actually did. I actually did her, and I had her in the show for quite some time as well.
Wow, that's incredible, huh?
Yeah.
When is it tough to retire a character, and when do you know when it's time to sort of put them aside as you do others? How do you decide to do that?
You know, that's an interesting. Nobody's ever asked that question, and I think probably we've not retired anybody yet.
No,
but there probably will come a time where, you know, people will not remember, you know, or there will be a request to do, you know, so certain people. So
I mean, yeah, because see, we are lucky enough to where when we chose to do our characters, we wanted to do the big legends that were bigger than life and that will basically be around forever, like the Elvises and the, you know, Marilyn Monroes and, you know, all that stuff. And I think with the ones that we do, you know, I think even after they pass away, I think in a lot of cases they may even be bigger than they are today. You know, definitely.
Yes, that happened with Michael Jackson, right? More of his music was sold upon his passing than prior. It's amazing how that happens, right?
Well, we're finding this is amazing. We're finding younger people are coming to our show. People that are in their teens and early 20s, and I'm amazed, and they absolutely love, and they're very familiar with everybody that we do. And even there are some that are not, but they still love the show, and it makes them saying, you know, I'm going to go, you know, listen more to Engelbert Humperdinck or Tom Jones, or the Bee Gees or something like that, which has been really great because that's what we really, strive for, is to get people to listen to more of the music of the celebrities that we
Absolutely. Ed Asner, Lou Grant.
Oh my God. That is so, I'm telling you, Ed, let me tell you, Ed, again, so different than what, and let me tell you, Ed was like us. He was a workaholic.
Yes.
I mean, when I tell you, he was on the road like us everywhere. We would run into him all the time because we would do the same theaters.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he worked until the day he died.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always say, do you guys not take a break? We were like, we're going to take a break, Ed, when you take a break.
Yeah.
He says, well, that ain't going to happen. He says, I'm going to die on stage.
And unlike what he said to Mary Tyler Moore or Mary Richards, I bet he said to you, you guys got spunk.
Oh.
I love spunk.
You know what? When we showed him all the stuff he did, he said, I like you guys.
Yeah. He was great.
And you knew you were in, right? That's
it.
Yes. And of course,
Absolutely.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Oh my gosh. Now, when I tell you, he was such a nice man, but when I tell you, Patrick is very British.
Yes.
Very British.
Yes.
And the thing is, and it was just such an honor meeting him. And he was so impressed with what we did. But it was amazing how quiet and how British he was. That's the best I can say about Patrick. And Patrick is very, I say British, but what I mean is he takes his work very seriously.
Yes.
And focused. He's
focused. Yeah, very focused. Yes.
Very much like Malcolm McDowell.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Malcolm McDowell was a very, very close friend of ours.
Yes. Exactly.
Very close friend.
Yeah.
He was the same way. Very serious.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you, when we would go out to eat or whatever, he would let loose and he would tell us the most incredible stories.
I mean,
amazing.
I mean, yeah. I just absolutely. I mean, if I repeated them, I get into trouble.
You've been graced with lots of wonderful people in your lives.
Yes, and
our mother.
That's our
mom. That's our mom.
Right.
Yeah, 82 years old. And
look at her, huh?
Yeah,
82.
Now, I haven't had the honor yet to meet her, but I was going to say, is she a real personality herself?
Oh my God.
Is she ever?
Yes. She has a personality like Carol Burnett.
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone mistakes her for Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
She must love what you guys do.
And
she was very proud of you.
Yeah. So we did 4 shows here. She was in the audience for every show.
Yeah.
Well, people, when we were at your show, people were saying that. People were asking you guys, how's your mother?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Great.
And she loves it because she gets the opportunity to come see the show. We announce her, and she is the celebrity for the entire evening.
Yeah.
And people invite her out to eat. They invite her over to their house. They have a million questions and all this stuff. So when I tell you, she loves it. And my mother, you think we talk a lot? I tell you, she can talk to a brick wall, and the brick wall would talk back to her.
Have you guys ever done this illustrious character from the past, Mr. George Burns?
George Burns.
A matter of fact,
we do that every night.
Every night.
Every single night. And of course, I do Gracie.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, who doesn't love George Burns? And
oh my God.
You see, that's why we love doing them, because a lot of the young people will come. They don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But once they Google them, we get emails all the time from young people who basically said, you turned me on to George Burns and Gracie Allen. And I watched every single one of their episodes and all that stuff. So it's really great to be able to be educating people as well.
Yes. Yeah.
My aunt collected dolls. My mother is the youngest of like 16. And one of my aunts collected dolls, and this got passed down to me. It's a real real authentic collectible George Burns doll and is fully outfitted. He's got the beautiful shoes and the cigar and the whole bit. So he pops in every once in a while. And I said, he's got to be on this episode with you guys.
Yeah, well, of course. Absolutely. We're always very happy to have him.
He's sort of like an associate producer on the show. He hangs down below. He's got his martini and a cigar. He's got his own little setup down there. So he's content.
I hope we have a bunch of girls down there to entertain him.
The genie bottle is down there.
Well, there you go. That's all you need.
As you've seen, long lines for the genie bottle.
Oh boy, I'll tell you, that's exactly the way it was.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like, and what's it been like being on the Kominsky Method on Netflix? So, Congratulations with that.
Thank you. That was the most, I think, the most memorable experience of my entire career, to be able to work with Alan Arkin, Michael Douglas,
Jay
Leno,
Patty
LaBelle, Nancy Travis.
Did you say Anne Margaret too?
And Margaret, yeah. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I was on that set for a week and a half. It took us a week and a half to shoot the episode. And incidentally, the episode that I was on, we literally won an Emmy for that episode. So I was just absolutely thrilled about that. It was such a memorable experience. And I'll tell you, Michael and Alex, so we were all put in the same dressing room. So to be able to be literally in the presence of all of these celebrities, and there were long hours, very long hours. So the stories that Michael shared about Romancing the Stone, the one that he did with Liberace, the Candelabra, Wall Street. I mean, I wish I had a tape recorder to be able to tape all of the incredible stories that him and Alan were telling. It was incredible. Incredible. And amazing.
Are there any folks that you wish that you met personally who are no longer with us that you were fans of?
Yes. I wished I would have met Ed Wynn.
Oh, yeah.
And he seemed like he was just such a wonderful man and, and just full of so much joy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not know, but he was in Mary Poppins.
Oh, yes.
But that's one person that I really wished I would have met, because he seemed like he was such a wonderful person.
You guys, we had mentioned, we were chatting before we went live on air, that you were seeing some of our guests, Sharon Gless and Margaret on our show, and Dick Van Dyke, of course, who were my favorites. And you have a Dick Van Dyke connection, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I got to tell you the story real quick about Dick Van Dyke. So a friend of ours, Joni, had invited us to a big thing where they were honoring Dick, and she had asked us to come because she had just given Dick a DVD of us. So this was at the Beverly Hilton, the famous Beverly Hilton. And so
he gave him a Dick Van Dyke DVD.
Beverly Hills Hotel.
Beverly Hills Hotel. And so we're walking down right where all the paparazzis are.
There were hundreds of paparazzi.
Yeah, exactly.
Hundreds of paparazzi. And we were coming up the walkway where the entrance is to the hotel, where all of the paparazzi were waiting for Dick Van Dyke
for
and all of
limos.
the celebrities and pull up and all that stuff.
So there's a limo that stopped about 200 feet before the paparazzi, and out of the limousine pops Dick Van Dyke. Waving his hands towards us. You!
Edward Swins! Oh my God, it's the Edward Swins or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're looking
around.
We're looking around like,
hello,
oh, wait a minute, that's us. Whatever. And she was like, you guys are incredible. You're amazing. And he says, I was convinced that you guys were lip syncing.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were lip syncing or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
And when and we became the closest friend. We were there for about 15, 20 minutes just talking. The paparazzi were like, they were going crazy. They were like, who the hell are these twins? Who are they? Who are they?
And,
It was amazing.
And he introduced us to everybody there, from Mitzi Gaynor to Stephanie Powers. I mean, to everybody. I can go on and on. We sat next to Norm Crosby, the legend Norm.
Yes.
We became good friends with Paula Abdul, who we were with in Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island. She was in Rhode Island when you were in Rhode Island.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you know, it's really amazing because with all of the people that were at the event that you were at and I was at, people were coming up to me, whispering in my ear, that's the Edwards twins. Do you know that's the Edwards twins? That's the Edwards twins. Oh my God, they're the Edwards twins. They were telling me, of course, I knew it was you guys, but I didn't want to bother you because you were doing what you were doing with Barbara. But you came out and said hello anyway, which was fantastic. But there was buzz underneath. I mean, if you had your own separate booth, you would have had lines. People were saying,
thank you.
You know,
that means the world to us.
Yes, they were saying that.
We, like I said, we think of us as just regular people. We're not stars or whatever. We're just working actors and actresses.
As he always said, you know what? He always says, you know, I couldn't get work as an actor in Hollywood, so I became an actress.
And a darn good one too. I got to tell you, you know, when you do have Streisand and Bocelli together, it is really people. I mean, they're laughing, they're having a great time, and all the fabulous characters, you know, all the celebrities that you bring out, and all the music. But there's something that happened and happens when you bring these two out together that is really, you know, it surpasses so much. There's just something, the audience just all of a sudden, they're like enamored.
Yeah, we do. So that particular song, Jim, I'll tell your audience what that is. So Andre Bocelli and Celine Dion did this incredible song called "The Prayer." That was
phenomenal song.
Written by, help me, Stephen. Is it? No, it's not Stephen Sondheim. David
Foster.
David Foster. Yes,
because Josh Groban has sung it as well. Yeah,
Josh Groban has sung it as well.
Yes.
So we decided that since, you know, we can do pretty much, we can re-record anything, whatever, because we do all these voices, we were going to do it as Andre Bocelli and Barbra Streisand. They've never sung that song, never even talked about singing it, whatever, but we decided to do it. And of course, I fought my brother on actually doing it because I didn't want to learn Italian. And, you know, part of the song is in Italian. I mean, I can barely speak English, let alone, you know, learn Italian. So he was like, okay, I'll make a deal with you. Learn it. We'll put it in. We'll keep it in for a week. If it doesn't go over, we will take it out. I was like, great. Well, it became one of the showstoppers in our show. And we have to do it now every single show. If not, our fans will basically throw tomatoes at us at the end of the show if we don't have it in.
Yeah.
It's the number one requested show number, along with the final one that I do about my dad. I am my father's son.
That's incredible. One of our lovely viewers, you know, the viewers, I said when I started the series that our show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And one time I said it too fast. I said light, levity, somehow combining love and levity together. And it just blew up from there. So the viewers call themselves the Jim Masters Show Levities. And I'm Mr. Levity. This is Levity Hall. You guys have already been welcomed as Levities here on the Jim Masters Show series, which is really, you know, the world needs more levity. There's a reason why this Levity, Maureen in Arizona, asks this question. And she's asking it of you guys, but it's because I think it relates to something I've said in the past. You know, we've all worked with many producers in our lives, and we are producers and we are executive producers and all these kinds of things. But I often say, to be quite honest, the true executive producers in my life are mom and dad, because they produced me. So they are my executive producers. Maureen says, do you introduce your mother as your executive producer?
Well, we do, because
produced you.
We always introduce her as one of the biggest stars in Las Vegas.
Yes,
because she did produce two of us, and you know, all of the celebrities that we do. So that's a pretty big.
We call it double levity.
Right.
Double celebrity.
Also, our mother is also very honest with us. If a character does not go over, or if she doesn't think it's work, she will say to us, "Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
It makes you look bad." Yeah. And so
she does.
Executive producer.
So she is honest, and she's. And that's great, because it helps you sort of tweak what you're doing. And
well, it is, and she always tries to be able to come see us every chance she gets. She even sometimes comes to LA as well. So,
You, I mentioned the Tonight Show and Entertainment Tonight and all of these, Ellen. What's it been like, you know, having opportunities to be on some of those broadcasts as well?
When I tell you, oh my God, Jim, never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would be on the Tonight Show, Ellen. I mean, to be able to be on the set, or like I was having coffee with Ellen prior to the show, dressed as Bette Midler, you know, because the segment that I did on her show, I was Bette. I mean, to be able to be sitting there and talking with these celebrities, you know, Jay Leno and Ellen, and, you know, all of the TV shows that I've been blessed to do, it's like, it's just so surreal, because I was on Ellen when Ellen was at the height of her career, where her show was #1. And for me to be able to have been on it, the same thing as, you know, with Jay Leno and the Tonight Show. They literally recreated the entire It's a Wonderful Life scene, and they put me behind a green screen, and I was Jimmy Stewart. And, you know, it was, when I watched that, I'm like, I can't believe that that's me. It's incredible. So it's really surreal. I mean, I just have to pinch myself and say, you know, is that really me? You know? Yeah,
that's quite a very, very special moment, huh?
Yes.
And also, you know what? To know Jay is to love Jay.
He is the best.
He is the most kindest, loving person. He's like Carol. I mean, what you see is what you get with Jay.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting. So when my Uncle Jack was working on Real People, which was a very famous show.
We had John Barber on the show just a few weeks ago. Yeah.
That's right. So you know. So I would
Sarah Purcell and Byron Allen and
Byron Allen, Sarah Purcell, and so anyway, so our Uncle Jack,
McLean Stevenson, was he on there too?
That's right. Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
He absolutely was. So we, you know, we would hang out. I would spend a lot of my time with John Davidson. John Davidson had his own show.
He's been on our show 3 times. He's amazing. He's terrific.
Amazing. And I was a kid. I think I was maybe 12 or 13 or whatever. And I would hang out with him. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Jay Leno literally was the comedian and would open up the show for John. He was a nobody. Jay was a nobody. And I would hang out with Jay, and he was like my buddy back then. And to be able to be working with him on the Tonight Show and on the Kominsky Method, and I was a kid, back then, and he would, give me advice, and he would look over me and all that stuff and everything. And it's just really weird how full circle, comes.
Absolutely. And, he has a venue, John Davidson, in New Hampshire. It's really cool. It is up in Sandwich, New Hampshire, in the Lakes region, and it's called Club Sandwich in Sandwich, New Hampshire. And he has a home up there, and he opens it from April through October, and he brings in all of these acts and performers. He performs on the weekends, his show, and you go there, and it's extraordinary. You think you are going into a John Davidson shrine. He has all of these artifacts and all this memorabilia from his incredible career, in stage and Broadway and TV and film. And God, last weekend we saw him on reruns of Love American Style.
Yes. When I tell you, John Davidson was huge. People don't realize.
But you know what he wanted? He said to us, there's one thing that was always out there, that even with all that he's done, I mean, he's one of those omnipresent people. I think he was he hosted the Tonight Show, or filled in for Johnny Carson the most of any musician. He, of course, had his talk show when Mike Douglas was finished. He was on every show, all these, shows you see, and on Broadway and everything else. But one thing he said is still out there. He always wanted a hit song. That's still something that he wrangles with. He always wanted a hit song that was his hit song.
That was his hit song. Kind of like Tony Orlando and Tie a Little Ribbon Around the Old Tree.
Right. Yes.
So, I get that. But I'll tell you, I remember, because I was right there in the midst of his talk show. He had
about 81 now. Hard to believe.
81. Incredible. Incredible.
So he has that place in New Hampshire, and he opens it up, and people come from all around. Carol Burnett actually did an open for him, and he comes in on a swing and he sings, and it's really a cool place. And people usually go there and they'll do a little vacationing, sightseeing. And there's some restaurants in town that partner with him, and we went up to see him, and Bob Loudon and some other folks were there. He was producer on he produced a lot of the shows that John hosted, game shows, Pyramid, all these shows, or Hollywood Squares, and Hollywood Squares, and all this. But it was just terrific. He doesn't need to do it, but he's such an entertainer that he loves the whole thing of it. He gets it, and he's still he's not a guy that's ever going to retire. Right now, he's in Mexico on his boat. His son and wife and kids are in Mexico. His daughter, I believe, is in the Boston area. And he goes to Mexico in the summer, and he sings on the boat, and he does videos playing the guitar, and he's happy and he's smiling with his white hair. It's really cool to see. You know what I mean?
Great. He's amazing. An amazing guy. I have so many.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. That's right. That's right. Another one. That's another one he was on.
We have a little thing here we want to show that is sort of like a promo clip, and it shows the guys in action, and it's really, really cool, folks. You gotta, everything we can show you as far as any video or photos, there's nothing like the real thing. So you got to get there when you're in Vegas, or if they're coming to your area, because again, 300 shows a year is extraordinary.
And we are going to be in Connecticut, Massachusetts.
Yeah, and somebody was asking about Florida too.
Florida. We're everywhere.
We're all
in
over Florida. We
It-
start
yeah.
our tour in 2 weeks.
That's right, you
and
do.
We're there all the way till April. They can go to theedwardstwins.com.
Yep, we got it right on the screen there. There it is, the edwardstwins.com. It's got all the tour dates. Literally, folks, I'll tell you, this window that we have with Eddie and Anthony is a very small window in between a string of shows, and they did a fabulous holiday show as well. And then the shows that in like 2 days from now, they're going to be doing here, there, and everywhere. So we had this little window and we all locked it in together, which I really appreciate because I know how we all lead these busy, crazy lives.
Anything for you, Jim. We love you. We love you. We would do anything for you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Here is that clip, folks. You're going to love it. Again, it's just a little teaser. You got to see the guys. They knock it out of the park. And as you can see, they're all in on life, and it's very infectious. Take a look at this. The Edwards twins.
If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. Night has been too lonely. I want all the wrong plans. I want your birthday. I want your disease. Sherry, Sherry, baby, Sherry, Sherry, baby. They trust the music of the night. Close your eyes, for your eyes will only tell the truth. Like the corners of my mind.
Babe, I got you, babe.
No, no, I saw the light of the night that I passed by her window.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing out here. Working 9 to 5 was a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taken and no giving.
Unbelievable. How does it make you feel when you see it compiled in that way? And that's just the short list. It's pretty cool stuff, isn't it, my friends?
It really is. And even though I think it's a great video, I still always, when I watch that, I always pick things apart, saying, no, we could have done that, we could have done that, we could have done that. But out of all the videos, I think this one is one that I'm content with.
There's a few characters in there where I say, you know what, I actually looked and sound pretty good for that particular, time. But again, with us, we're never really happy with anything. I mean, that's unfortunately the way that we
You guys are funny with that. That stuff is spectacular, what we just saw.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. I know what you mean. You're like, I know, because you're the ones doing it. So it's coming from a different, you're looking out this way, and
Yes.
we're looking at it this way.
Yes.
And that's the whole, it's an unusual thing. But as somebody that is in the industry, and I know you've heard this from a lot of people that are in the industry as well, you guys are really good. You're
Well,
really
thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
That means the world to us. You know, we're just basically work in progress, you know, and you know, we're always trying to be able to take everything and just move everything up to the next level, up to the next level, up to the next level, until we get to a point where we just can't do it anymore. And then we can sit back and we can go, hey, you know what? I was actually pretty good at one time.
was that Archie or Edith, or a little of both?
We actually, believe it or not, we will occasionally do Archie and Edith.
Do you? And that's where you're supposed to say stifle. Coming up. Can we even say that? Dummy up. It is funny. Carol O'Connor was unbelievable because he was so opposite Archie Bunker. He was a classically trained performer. And he just mastered that character.
Yeah. Those were amazing sitcoms. You know, I really do thank God that I was able to be born when I was, and I could be able to be part of that era where all of the great sitcoms, you know, Taxi and the Carol Burnett Show and the variety shows
and
Bewitched, Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days and all this stuff. They're not doing it anymore. You know,
it's not the same.
Those days are over.
Yeah, it's not the same at all. Right, exactly. Right. Yeah.
And I don't think it's the actors. I think it's the writers.
Yeah, and remember, I had Lloyd Schwartz on the show, you know, son of Sherwood Schwartz, who created Brady Bunch.
Yes, he did
everything. He did everything. And we talked about how the shows were done and all these shows, the Brady Bunch and the rest. And one of the things I pointed out that I used to love as well with these shows was also the underscoring music that was used when they were transitioning from one scene to the next, or when they wanted to emphasize a certain mood that we were already thinking and it was being verbalized in words from what they were saying from the script. But the music, the underscoring enhanced it. You don't really hear a lot of that now, and it's so important.
You don't. They had the same thing that you're talking about in Bewitched, you know, and I Dream of Jeannie, you know, and
that bongo thing when they would switch.
Yeah, right.
Or that high pitched sound like or whatever when they would switch from scene to scene.
Amazing.
The things we remember, right? We
remember, and if I had more time, I would be watching all those, and I'm sure one day I'll be able to have time to watch all the I Dream of Jeannies and think to myself, oh my God, I spent so much time with Barbara, and it's like, what an amazing life that I had, because, you know, we have dinner with her all the time and we hang out with her all the time. But it's like my mind doesn't go to the fact of she was I Dream of Jeannie.
That is Barbara Eden.
You know, I'm not in that, you know, but I know one day I'll be able to sit back, watch all the movies, and think to myself, oh my God, I worked with these people.
Yeah.
I played with these people. You know, whatever.
We had her howling in stitches with all of the different things that was happening, and all the memories. I mean, those are memories that when we were just with her in Rhode Island, well, I will never forget.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
had so many incredible dinners with her. Oh my God.
Dinners.
I mean, just incredible. Where we'd be laughing so much that our guts would be hurting.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
It's like she's adopted you in some way, huh?
She is. She's become our Aunt Barbara.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
right.
she really has. Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. And oh my God, the stories that she has.
Yeah. There was one thing that one of my roadies was saying, because we were all having dinner at Fleming's in Rhode Island, and there was a guy, and there was a lot of people at the table. Barbara was there, Eddie was there. There was a guy there that was that did Santa Claus, and so my roadie was looking, and he's like, this is an amazing, look, because we have a genie, we have Santa Claus, and we have a fairy. Talking about Eddie. and so I told Barbara when I was walking.
This is funny. This is
yeah.
very funny.
When I was walking Barbara back to her room, I said, Barbara, Stephen, our roadie, was looking down this long table, and he said, this is an amazing scene because we have a genie, we have a Santa Claus, and we have a fairy. And Barbara looked confused. She says, well, who's the fairy? And I said, Eddie. She lost it. No. She laughed. She started laughing. She started crying.
I mean, literally,
You popped back into the bottle.
it was that funny to her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I mean, with Barbara, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
She's old school. She's old fashioned.
Yeah.
She just is. She's like a genie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing, isn't it? If you guys didn't take this career path, what would you be doing individually? Like, I know, Anthony, you went to the California Institute of the Arts. You just got a degree in music, and you've got a minor in political science. Tell us about all this.
Well, yeah. The thing is I was very blessed to, California Institute of the Arts was the school that Walt Disney, founded, and so I studied music there. But a lot of people don't realize as well is I was a police officer in San Diego. I graduated from the police academy in San Diego, and I was just about ready to get sworn in and start a career as a police officer. And, at the last minute, I decided to become a full-fledged entertainer. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be a cop in San Diego on the verge of retiring.
For me, it's a very tough question because there's just so many areas that I could have gone into if I wouldn't have done this. I was in the medical field, for a little bit. I was working with critically ill cancer patients, and I was working with a lot of oncology people at the hospital that I was born in, right next to NBC Studios. And the doctor that I was working with was really wanting me to go into the medical field and different things like that. So that was a path that I could have taken, but I was so fascinated with makeup. I probably would have become a Hollywood makeup artist, most likely, because I was pretty talented with makeup, and I had worked and was able to really be around some of the greats. And I would have probably most likely maybe gone into being a makeup artist.
You mentioned being born in a hospital that's next to NBC. I would expect nothing less from you.
We aimed ourselves for the right area.
You were a page the minute you were born.
Yeah. Hour and day that we were born, literally right next door was Joan Rivers was making her premiere on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I do want to make mention, it's something special. I don't want to give it all away because it is something very special, but you do sing an original song, I Am My Father's Son, which was very beautiful, very poignant. As I was saying, folks, with all the levity and all of the nostalgia, there are some very moving, meaningful, and poignant moments weaved into their performances and their shows. And that is definitely one of them. Tell us about the importance of that, even being a part of the show.
Well, the the song is about the acceptance of my father,
Of what he does for
of what it is that I do
for
for
a living.
a living. Because my dad was a very strong, stern Italian man. And he was very set in his ways. He was very old school. And he just did not get and understood why it was that I would be dressing up as a woman and going to these clubs to perform. And so as time went on, my brother and my mother, my stepmother, brought him to a club that I was performing at. And anyways, I won't ruin the story, but I've had literally truck drivers, I mean, grown men, NFL, literally come up to me in tears. Football players, literally in tears, crying. I mean, so many of them, just people that come up to me and say, that song meant so much to me, because the way that I co-wrote it with a friend of mine who is in Rhode Island, who basically presented it to me, and was that I wanted everybody to be able to listen to the words and touch them in a way that they've never been touched before. And that's what this particular song does. It's for everybody. And everybody takes their own meaning from it. And that's the way that I wanted to. And that's the reason why it really is, I think, one of the most strongest moments in the entire show.
It really is. And that's the thing about the show, because you weave in so many different elements. It's a full circle experience. And as I said, you know, the passion and enthusiasm you have, and the quick turnaround as well, to be able to get into the different outfits and wigs, and just all of it is absolutely extraordinary. And as I was saying to our fabulous viewers, the Liberties watching live around the world, I got a chance to be there.
It's a great photo. Great photo.
Isn't that a great? That's behind the scenes, folks. That's backstage. Yeah. It was really, really cool. After the show, the guy said, "Hey, come on up," and it was really, really nice to see it. It was right around holiday time as well, and that was a great holiday show you guys put on.
Thank you, thank you so much. And it was so great meeting your friend Ronnie.
Oh yes. That my good friend, who's the son of legendary singer Ronnie Spector. Yes. Austin.
Such a wonderful person. So you could just tell he's a very loving person. He is. He had a good heart.
Yes, he was excited to see you, and I said, "Hey, I'm heading there, and want to come?" And he was very, very excited to.
I was a big fan of his mom's.
Ronnie Spector. Oh, another icon on so many different levels as well. Why do you guys love doing this so much? You're so good at it, and you're so passionate about it, and you sell out. You do 300 shows plus a year, and you knock them out of the park every single time. The celebrities themselves love what you do. Why do you love it so much?
You know what it is? We're able to bring so much joy, so much laughter, so much fun to so many people, especially with the world being the way that it is. You know, people just need that release. They need to be able to go out. They need to be able to literally go into another world for 2 hours and be able to remember a time when things were just a little bit more easier, a little bit more funner. And that's what we love to do with our show. There isn't any other job that I would want than to be able to bring joy of this magnitude to people.
And I can't say anything better. That says it all.
He seconds that emotion. In stereo. I love that. Remember when they used to do that? You're listening
I
to
do.
WLTZ in
Yes.
stereo.
Yes. I love that. I
That's
love
it.
that.
Yeah. Oh, ever the broadcaster. You guys are amazing. So I encourage folks to peruse the fabulous website. There's videos on there. There's a lot of cool things. You can also see the tour schedule. And of course, their home base is beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm always all over the place being sent on television shoots and all kinds of stuff with my work as well. If not in the studio, then out on location. And we, of course, have already met. But when I'm in Vegas, if you guys happen to be there,
Absolutely.
we're gonna break bread, my friends.
Good. I'll tell you. Well,
And I'll take you to some incredible shows.
Yes.
That would be fantastic. And all those folks that you just mentioned, spread the word if they would like to stop by the Jim Master Show live as a special guest. They're all welcome. And I always say to the guests and to the viewers, we don't script anything. It's all free flowing. I don't really even call these interviews. I call these conversations, like the old school talk shows, conversations, because I think people really gravitate to and they feel more emotionally connected to a good conversation than just if I had a list of pre-prepared questions and just checked them off and raffled them off. And okay, Anthony and Eddie are here. Okay, you're performing where? This is that. That's that. Okay, see you later. Gone. This is much more of an experience. And if you only had 20 minutes, that would have been fine. You know, we said an hour, we've done 2.
Yeah, I figured as much because our phone has been ringing off the hook. We have.
That's everybody that's watching that's saying, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, we're in Vegas, so we're having dinner with a couple of celebrity friends of ours.
Very nice.
Like, where are you? And we're just like, listen, we're working. Have a cocktail. We'll be there when we be there.
Well, make sure you tell them we were just on the Jim Master Show live. That's it. You guys are absolutely the best. We won't keep you because you do have to go to dinner, but a couple of great viewers, lovely viewers have wonderful things just to say. Thank you for the fun show. Thanks, Anthony and Eddie, for being here. Good night. She's watching in Sweden. Jane. She's hoping that you'll come to Stockholm. Maureen's in Arizona. This was a gut-busting, hilarious conversation. Anthony and Eddie, you are certainly living your best life. May your stars continue to rise. Thank you so much for being in Lovely Hall tonight, which I think is really beautiful. Austin Field is watching. Another excellent show. Subscribe for more wonderful content. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And some of the other great comments that have been coming in here, they've been, you know, our lovely viewers have been coming in and talking about all kinds of different things they've been enjoying. Wow, amazing. Kimberly, is there an opportunity to meet the twins at the show? She's in Florida. So
you know what? That's Kimberly is my very best friend.
Oh, really?
I go to Disney with her every single year.
Welcome.
And
you're a lovely now, Kimberly. Welcome to our show.
Kimberly, we love you. We love you, Kim.
See, it's all about lovity. Kathleen Walker says, amazing. Maureen says, this blows my mind. Absolutely incredible. Sherry in Kansas, absolutely amazing. Just everybody really loving all of this as well. And this is so nice. I appreciate all these great comments. And Cynthia, Catherine Howard, Eddie and Anthony, if you're ever in the Washington, D.C. area, I would love to see your show. Loving blessings to you both. Smiles coming in from Merlin in Canada. Do you guys get up to Canada too?
We do.
Used to. We
Montreal.
Montreal.
You guys are now lovedies. I love the way you laugh exactly at the same time. Needed this today with the weather they're having. Thank you so much. Conversation, very funny. Good stuff. Thanks for all these great comments. And there's many more. We really appreciate this as well. And Kathleen Walker.
Yes, thank you.
You guys are amazing. She also did a beautiful super chat during our show. Thank you very much. She's in New York City. You guys are amazing and so incredibly talented. This is some awesome show. Many thanks to you both for being here. Thanks, Jim, for having me here. And she's hoping to see you if you come to New York City. Do you get to New York City?
We do.
We played the Friars Club.
Oh, wow.
We actually honored Melissa Manchester.
Yes.
The show.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is
small
so
world.
cool. Well, dinner's getting cold, so we don't want to keep you. The I'll talk to the audience, tell them how they can get tickets and all the other stuff. But you guys scoot off. You're amazing. As I always say to all the
Thank you, Jim.
guests,
And Happy New Year.
we will keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank
Spread
you.
the word about our show, and I truly hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with the two of you.
Yes,
It's
a
been
pleasure.
absolutely
A pleasure.
extraordinary. It's been
You guys are
absolutely extraordinary. We love you, Jim. Thank you so much.
And as my dad said, which he told me when I was 7 years old, not when he was 7 years old. Jim, whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, ask them to, or first thank them, then ask them to please put it in writing and address it management.
That's what,
Guys,
you
you're
had a
the-
very nice dad.
Yes, he's the best. You guys, we love you back.
Thank you,
Be
Jim.
well.
So
Thanks for
much. Thank
stopping
you.
by the show
Everything.
and enjoy dinner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
love you. Thank you again for everything.
You are very welcome. Take care now.
Okay.
They are the best, huh? Eddie and Anthony, twins, extraordinary talents, almost 40 years in Vegas and around the world doing their thing. They are extraordinary celebrity impersonators, illusionists, impressionists. It's just incredible. And they sell out everywhere they go. And this was quite an honor. This is quite a special time because they are on tour and they have just this little window to chat with us, and it was really something quite special. Again, I had a chance to see them recently at a concert here, it is a concert. It's also an event. It's a performance. It's a show with Eddie and Anthony when they were here on the East Coast, and that was in December. And this was backstage, and it was really cool. But isn't it amazing, as I mentioned, how they just transform into these extraordinary performers, these legends, these celebrities? They do everything, the costumes, the makeup. They have all the people with them. They don't lip sync. When you saw that little preview promo there, that teaser, they're singing. So they actually take on the persona of, and the vocal tones and just all of it, the mannerisms, the Andre Bocelli, Barbara Streisand, I mean, Rod Stewart, Dolly Parton, Elton, and Bette Midler. And these are just a few of the many, 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 many characters that they do and that they have done for almost 40 years. I mean, if you look at that picture, you think you're looking at Barbara Streisand and Elton John and Cher. That's them. That's Eddie and Anthony. It's unbelievable, really. But you can see they're funny how they say they're not happy with a lot of what they do. That's because they really care and they're perfectionists. And that means you're going to get an incredible show when you see them perform. So the edwardstwins.com is their website. We actually have been working on doing this for quite some time with the guys. This was, I'd say, probably maybe about a month and a half, almost 2 months. We've been trying to, coordinate our schedules, theirs and mine, to have them on as guests on our show. And because they're so busy, they have these dates, 300 shows a year. So we had this little window to have them come on. And this was cool. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, some poignant moments. We took the episode in a myriad of different directions like a talk show does. And we hope you enjoyed it. If this was your first time watching the Jim Masters Show Live series, we welcome you to our broadcast. It's always a pleasure to have you here. We thank the Edwards twins for joining us, both Eddie and Anthony. It is uncanny how they do. When they laugh in unison. It's amazing. Hey, I want to let you know also, coming up tomorrow, we have a very special episode of our show. Tommy Burke is here. Tommy Burke is an extraordinary film and television producer. He's worked on so many of your favorite TV shows and movies. He's worked on Designing Women and so much more. He's going to be talking about his meteoric rise to fame in Hollywood, but he's also going to share how he had to work through some incredible events in his life, like being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma and Parkinson's disease, and working through all of that at the height of his career. And he's a brilliant author as well. He's got a very incredible Hollywood story, but a personal story he's going to share with us tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then guess what? What an epic, epic broadcast we have coming up on Thursday. We're just announcing this now. This is the cast and the creators of the epic new musical, Rock Me Amadeus. These are all extraordinary people that are going to be with us. You've seen them in so many other shows. You've seen them at Carnegie Hall and Broadway and on television shows. And Allison Cambridge is here, Tony Bruno, Chloe Lowry, Tony Vincent from The Voice, American Idol. Luis Guzman's going to be here, Henry Aronson. Just Google any of their names and you'll see the extraordinary body of work. They have graced some of the finest stages. They've been in movies and television and film and Broadway and everything else. And they have created Rock Me Amadeus, which is an incredible new musical. And they are going to be here on the show. And actually, my friend, your friend, Mairead Nesbitt from Celtic Woman, who was just on our show recently, she's also part of the cast, but she's in Ireland right now, so she's not coming back till the end of this week. But we talked about Rock Me Amadeus when she was a guest on the Jim Masters show just a few weeks ago. But Mairead Nesbitt's also a part of the show. All of these guests are going to be with us exclusively this Thursday, live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, as we celebrate Rock Me Amadeus, this incredible new musical. It's going to be a lot of fun. So join us for that. Take a look at a couple of more comments here. This is nice. Another excellent show. Please subscribe for wonderful content. Thank you, Austin. We appreciate that. Kimberly loved every moment. Thank you very much. Relax. Hope everyone stays safe. Yes, safe, happy, and healthy. And a continued Happy New Year. This was such a fun and amazing show. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Kathleen. And Kathleen, once again, we want to acknowledge, because we are always acknowledging those who do super thanks, which you can do 24/7 on our YouTube channel with the little heart that is the heart icon on the YouTube channel under all the episodes. But you did a super chat and a nice color of green, beautiful green shade there, and some beautiful words you've shared with us. Kathleen, thank you for that. That helps our show greatly, truly does. Just one of those light bulbs. That's about half. No, that's about a quarter of what one of those LED bulbs costs. But we know, we really appreciate that. And that just shows us that you like to go the extra mile and you really love what we're doing. And Kathleen, you're the best. They're in New York City, the Queen of Queens, as we say. Good stuff. We have so many great guests coming up. And we talked about Anne Margaret, too. If you didn't see the episode where Anne Margaret, the legendary, iconic Anne Margaret was on our show, or Sharon Gless, or Linda Gray, or any of the incredible epic people, Melba Moore, Melissa Manchester. Check out all those great episodes. And if you'd like to see this episode again, it will be archived, so you can see it in its entirety if you missed anything. And don't forget as well to give this episode a like. There is a like, thumbs up icon right on the YouTube channel next to this episode. Click thumbs up, like. We would love that. Leave a comment for us underneath the episode. Interact. Say hi. What you enjoy about this show and any of the other shows. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And when you do, don't forget to click the notification bell. There's a little bell icon next to the word subscribe. Click that, because then you'll receive notifications from us about upcoming episodes, upcoming special guests, and other surprises we have up our sleeve here at JMS. So that's a wrap from Jeannie and George Burns, Barbara Eaton, Jeannie, and all of us here at the Jim Master Show Live. We love having you here. Thanks for stopping by. Don't keep it a secret. Don't need this anymore. We don't need to hear them. And We appreciate it. And we appreciate the fact that you also follow us on social media. You can follow me at Jim Masters TV on Facebook and Instagram and on X, formerly called Twitter. There it's all Jim Masters TV. Wherever you're watching around the world, it's cool to have you here. Don't keep it a secret. Tell friends you know about us. And we hope you enjoyed the show. We work hard to give you some good entertainment here on JMS. We'll see you on the next episode. Some great guests coming up and some amazing episodes in store for all of you. We wish you well wherever you're watching around the world. It means the world to us that you are here. Duly noted and very appreciated. We'll see you on the next episode. Jim Masters here, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time here at JMS. Be well. Cheers.